Hello and welcome to the two-man power trip of wrestling. My host, JP John Paz. With me today, very special guest, former karate champion, former kickboxing champion, former WWE superstar, former WCW superstar. He is, of course, the cat, Ernest Miller. Ernest, welcome in. How you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing great. How about you?
Very good, very good. Can't complain. What's going on in your world? What are you up to?
Well, I'm doing the same thing, just enjoying life. I got the Cat's Corner podcast, as you can see. So I'm having some great guests on. So things are looking good, doing some great things.
So, what's going on the show? What are you guys covering? Are you just covering wrestling? Are you covering everything? Are you running the gamut?
You know what we are doing on my show? I got a co-host, Big Shug Ray. And we started out with wrestling conversations, but we end up talking about everything. So
Love that.
it's like wherever the wind blows. We start with one topic and just end up talking about a little bit football, basketball. I've had a couple of NFL players on my show. I had the karate champion, host, and old WCW guys. So we kind of spin the wheel, see where it lands, and talk about everything.
How's it been? How do you like doing the podcast?
It's fun. It's fun. It's just like having a conversation with my old friends. It's like we have these conversations anyway, but we just don't have them live on a podcast. So I said, well, why don't we just Zoom meet and talk about it, chop it up, and talk about some of the things that we was involved in back in the wrestling days, and from WCW to WWE. So it's just having a conversation with friends.
Do you think it's different than how you would have thought it would have been, just as far as the podcast, like the experience of doing it?
You know what? It's like when I don't do it, I'm feeling like I'm missing something. And then when I do it, sometimes feel like, oh, this is a lot of work.
Hmm. Yep. Are you still doing karate? I think you mentioned to me the other day you're still doing teaching and stuff, right? You're still coaching?
I'm still teaching karate, not as much as I used to, but I own a few karate dojos, and I'm involved in a couple of karate teams. So I'm still involved in martial arts. I think I will always be involved in martial arts. Because that's not just something. It's not a job. It's something that I really love doing.
That's great that you're still involved because I feel like that's kind of your connection to wrestling, right? That's kind of how you got into the wrestling business because you were coaching.
I wouldn't say that's how I got into the wrestling business. That's what brought wrestling to me,
Hmm.
and what they seen something in me, and they turned it into a pro wrestler.
Absolutely. How did that journey begin? Was it through Eric Bischoff and teaching Garrett?
It kind of it was through. I mean, the connection I had with, of course, with Eric was teaching his son karate. But it wasn't me teaching him karate that made Eric think that I would be a good pro wrestler. He got to see me teach his son. He got to see me involved with his son. He got to see me fight, compete. He got to see me as a person, and he saw a character in me, the cat. So of course he invited me down. Said, "Okay, we'll teach you how to do the rest."
It's so interesting, like how that can happen. You know what I mean? It's like you never expected to be a pro wrestler, right? That was never on your
Never,
radar.
never. I did not grow. I don't think it was one day. I started when I was 35. I don't think it was one day in those 35 years that I thought about being a pro wrestler.
Wow. Were you ever a fan or ever into it at all or
I
no?
was I when I was young, I was into it with my grandfather. My grandfather was a huge wrestling fan. He used to like people like Ox Baker, Ernest the Cat Lad, Dusty Rose. So he was a fan of it, and I used to watch it with him. But I thought it was kind of silly, bunch of guys running around fake fighting. So it was just past time when it came to watching wrestling for me. It was just something just to pass the time. I wouldn't rush on at 8 o'clock to sit out in front of the TV to watch pro wrestling. But if I would go past the TV and pro wrestling was on, I heard my grandfather laughing and enjoying something, I would sit down and watch a little bit with him.
That's great. Spend some time with him. He did, see
Oh
what
yeah,
he liked.
yeah, yeah. Spend some time with him. Yes.
So, how did you kind of get into martial arts? We'll get back to wrestling, but how did you get into martial arts, though? How did that journey happen?
Man, it was just something I wanted in my life. I was young. I watched a couple of karate movies, and I said that's what I want to do. And not just for the time, but I said that is what I want to do in life. I want to be a karate star, martial arts star. I wanted to be a karate instructor. I wanted to be a black belt. Everything I wanted to be when I was young involved martial arts.
Was it
Can,
any movie in
can you hear
particular?
me? Can you
Yeah.
hear me? I don't know. I've
Yep.
been yelling. I've been yelling at classes all day today, so I'm a little hoarse, a little bit. So
Yep. Yep. I got you. So, what was it specifically? Was it like a Bruce Lee movie, or was it just a
it
bunch of different movies, or like what kind of got you hooked?
was a man. There was a bunch of movies in back in the '70s. It was like music and karate, all that put in together. Whereas I mean, it wasn't hip hop, but it was kind of like good music. And then they had a bunch of guys kicking and punching. So I was like involved in all that. I love music. I love James Brown. I loved some of the good old music they had then. And then when you put that with guy kicking and punching, I was in heaven.
Love the James Brown stuff because you incorporate that later on into your gimmick. I love
I
that.
did everything I watched there, man. They also had Muhammad Ali. And at that time, Muhammad Ali was like the big mouth of the South. He did a lot of talking. He did a lot of ass kicking. He kicked a lot of butt. So it was fun. It was fun watching him and watching those guys go at it.
I was just watching him and Foreman, the rope a dope, the other day. It's crazy. Thought Foreman was going to kill him. You know what I mean? When you think about it, and the hype going into it, and Ali psyched him out.
It was a great show. That's what it was. He put on a show. Now that was entertainment. And
Yep.
for me, that was entertainment. So if boxing was almost like pro wrestling back in those days. Today you see two guys fight and you can't pick the winner. You can't pick a champion. You can't pick the guy that you really want to go for because you don't know any of them. You don't even know some of the fighters' name now. Back then, it's like they had three or four fighters. Muhammad Ali, Big George Foreman. They had some good fighters back then, and you know a lot of them by name. So it was
Smoking
like,
Joe.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah, Smoking Joe is like you, Joe Frazier. It's like you just you in your own world. You can pick who you want to pick. You have people you can cheer for.
definitely. Ken Norton, Chuck Wepner. You had all those
See,
awesome guys.
who in the hell was Chuck Wepner? I've never heard of
Oh,
that name in my life.
oh, big white guy. Yeah, he actually.
That's why. That's why.
Yeah,
Big white
he
guy. Okay, all right.
he
I
actually
was
wrestled
into the
too.
big. Oh, did he?
Yeah, he actually. Yeah, I think Andre the Giant. He wrestled. Yeah, it's crazy. He did. So he did some wrestling too. He was he just one of
I'm
those
gonna have
big
to.
tough guys. Never
You know,
like
I'm gonna, I'm gonna
top
have to.
perennial top 10 type guy.
Oh yeah, he was in the top 10. Let me
That
see. Give me your top 10. I'm gonna give you my top five: Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, uh, Who else? Who else who did what I put up in there? I know y'all want me to put Joe Frazier up in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and put Joe up in there too, Joe
Yeah.
Frazier.
Yeah.
And who else did they have there that was
Sonny
pretty
Liston.
good? No, man, not that far back. Shit, that was
Oh,
in that was in 1920s.
I thought we were talking
Not
old
that far
school guys.
back.
Yeah.
No, we're
Um,
not going those guys. Just at those times. George Foreman came along kind of late.
yeah. Yeah.
George Foreman came along kind of late.
Were you a
Uh,
Tyson guy, a Mike Tyson guy at all?
I was never a real Mike Tyson guy. I was never. Now, I was a guy at the time with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Those are the fights that I had. Then you got Big George Foreman came in, and then you had what's the guy man who beat Muhammad Ali, and then Muhammad Ali asked Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson got ready to fight this guy.
Oh, Trevor
Muhammad
Burbick.
Ali said, "No." Muhammad Ali said, "Get him for me." And he was a much older fighter then, just like Muhammad Ali. When Muhammad Ali fought this guy, he wasn't in his prime. He was older. So the guy just beat him up pretty bad, beat Muhammad Ali up pretty bad. And then when the tide turned, and this guy got ready to fight a young fighter by the name of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson just happened to be a big fan of Muhammad Ali. So
What?
when Muhammad Ali came into the ring and shook both hands, Muhammad Ali whispered to him and said, "Get him for me." Ken Norton was on that too. Ken Norton was one
Yeah,
of
Ken
my
Norton. Yeah.
favorites too. Ken Norton. I can't think of the old guy's name right now, but they was some hell of a fighters back then.
Was it? What? It wasn't Trevor Burbick. I'm trying to think who's the guy that
No, it
beat.
wasn't Trevor Berman. Okay, you had the Foreman Grill. That's the big guy. He fought for a long time, right?
Yep.
Big George Foreman. Big George Foreman. That's the one he fought in Africa.
Yep.
And then after him came another guy, big goofy looking guy.
Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes. There you go.
Yes. Now I'm
Larry
thinking.
Holmes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Now remember, Larry Holmes kind of beat up Muhammad Ali when Muhammad
Yes.
Ali was old.
And then
He kind
Tyson
of
destroyed
And
him.
then
Yeah.
and then he got in the ring, same thing, payback.
Yep.
He got in the ring with a young fighter, just like Muhammad Ali did him. But the young fighter was more of a Ali fan. So when Ali asked this guy, shook his hand, said, "Get him for me," Mike Tyson knew what he was talking about. And remember, Mike Tyson beat him up in like 2 rounds.
Yeah. Killed
Beat him
Larry
pretty
Holmes.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Damn. I had to think for a second there with Larry. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to go back, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I know I don't know any of the great boxers now. Back then was heavyweight fighters. Now you got lightweight fighters. Like Money Mayweather and those guys.
Yep. For sure. Now, as far as going back to you and your career and everything, when do you adopt the cat nickname? Is that early on, or when do you become like as far as the nickname the cat?
I don't know where that name came from.
Really?
At first when I got that I was Ernest Miller. Ernest Miller, the karate guy. Next thing you know, I started saying Ernest the Cat Miller. And I was like, where did the cat come from? And somebody said that's what they call you now, Ernest the Cat Miller, because of your movement. How you move like a cat. You can do anything, you fast, you're swift. It's like a cat. So, I took it and ran with it.
How did you get that kind of mobility and that moving like a cat? Like, did you play football? Like, what else like did you do to kind of get that athleticism and kind of get that foot movement and be able to move like a cat?
Karate wasn't the only thing I did. I played basketball. I played football. I played soccer. Very athletic. And during the time I started taking karate, most of the kids like myself who could play basketball, who could play football, athletic, didn't take karate. It was more the nerdy kids who were picked on. Those are the kids that took karate back then. So it wasn't a lot of guys like me in karate. But once I got to karate and started competing and fighting, people saw said this guy's very athletic. He can do anything. So that's the same thing I did when I got to WCW. You know, a lot of the stuff they told me to do was more for the small guys. But since I was able to do them, they kind of put that into my ring in my matches.
That's the one thing about you that I always find funny. It's like he's a lot bigger than you would think. Just because you move around like
Oh
that, I think people don't
no!
realize how big you are.
You know when people saw me on TV, they got a view of me, just a view, just from TV. But then when they saw me in person, the first thing they always said, "Wow, you bigger than what I thought you were. I thought you were smaller." I said, "No,
Yeah.
this is some of the guys I'm in the ring with. Most of them are 6'7", 7 feet tall. You know, they big guys, man. Scott Hall and
Oh,
Nash and those guys are huge. Hogan, those guys are real tall. Goldberg. So in the ring with those guys, they wasn't that much bigger than me, but they was a little taller and a little beefier than myself. So you could see it. It look kind of make me look small, you know.
yeah, definitely. That's true. And then you see you in person, you're like, wow, you're actually like way bigger than I realized you were. It definitely
Oh,
seemed
oh,
bigger. Yeah.
oh man, yeah.
So with pro wrestling, right, the training and everything, do you find that to be harder or easier than training for like karate and kickboxing and stuff of that nature? Like, what did you think was harder for you?
Karate because I pushed myself. Karate, I had to compete against guys just like me. You know, guys who wanted to fight. You know, when you, I really back in those days, I was in the martial arts because of the karate and the competitive nature of the sport at that time. Everybody learned karate to really fight in karate tournaments and compete against other karate guys. So I trained real hard just to be great, you know, and that was just the work I put in. Now, pro wrestling was a little different. Wrestling was more, you got to learn, you got to have good timing. It's just collecting a combination of things to create a character.
Because I was talking to Boss Rutan, and he was saying because he obviously he did some pro wrestling too. He said he hated the training aspect and the bumping and stuff. He said he'd much rather do the fighting and stuff just because he didn't want to take bumps too much. He said it was too much for him.
But remember with me, you asked me which did I like the best.
Yep.
They were both the same. I know that sounds funny. It's the
Mm.
same. Because remember, I was a rugged kind of martial artist. I was already fighting, playing football. I have football season. After football season, I come back to karate class. Then I leave for basketball season, high school basketball, all the way up through college. So, you know, me, it was like I was prepared for wrestling because I got to practice my wrestling stuff, and then I had karate classes at night. And the wrestling, falling down and all that stuff really didn't bother me.
You were ready for it, like you said. You and obviously playing football, you're used to be the physicality as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they bring you into WCW, where do you go? Like, do you go to the power plant and train, or like where do you go for training?
You know, when I came into wrestling, they did sign me to a contract to go to the power plant to be trained by some of the best guys around: Sarge, Pistol Pez, Watley, Jody Hamilton, uh, some of those guys, and Sarge. I mean, these guys right here were good teachers. But It's only so much you can learn inside a class. You got to be out on the road in different
Yep.
situations, different matches, different places. Cause really all run together. It's not one particular thing. It's not being good in a ring. It's not being able to take a wrist lock. It's about being able to hear the crowd, to feel the crowd, to use the things that you were taught to use. And it was good timing. You had good timing too.
So did you go there much though? Did you do a lot of training or not really? As far as
No,
power
I
playing?
did. I did training. I trained. I mean, I trained about until I went on TV. Once I left the power plant and I entered the world of actually being a pro wrestler. I mean, the business on the road, traveling. You didn't have time to go to the power plant. My classes was on the road. I had to learn. See, a lot of people don't understand this. But when I started wrestling, I was not wrestling to be a wrestler. I knew nothing about it.
Hmm.
Here I am. I get into the business of being a pro wrestler. I know what I've seen on TV. I can pick up stuff pretty easily, but I was not picking up how to entertain people, how to be an entertainer. That's something you got to get on the road. You got to be on the road. You got to travel. You got to mingle with the guys. You got to figure things out. What's going to work for your character? And remember, when I got in, I've never been a wrestler. I never worked in a small shows, indie shows, but everybody around me seemed to be like they were born into it. They had worked the small indie shows. They had worked the NWA, ECW, WWF. They back in WCW again. So these guys they had it all together. But I was one of the guys that I've never wrestled in my life. I didn't know what to do, but I got to learn really fast because I'm in the mix with the big guys, the big
Yeah.
thing. It's like my first Monday night, I'm sitting in catering. I had only been there about 3 weeks, well, about a month and a half. Yeah, about 6 weeks. Been in the power plant. They called me to put me on Monday Night Nitro. So I'm walking around looking at everybody, and it didn't kick in right then. But then I went to the catering. I'm sitting and catering and I'm eating and I'm by myself eating at a table, looking at all these guys who I'm working with. I look over to my left, I see Ric Flair. Think about it. I grew up watching that Ric Flair. Everybody know Ric Flair. Then I see Hulk Hogan. Then I see Scott Hall. Then I see Nash. I'm seeing all these guys. And then what blew my mind when I saw Sid Vicious. When I saw him, I was like, man, I can't believe I'm here. What in a million years I would have never thought in a million years that this is the job I'd be doing at this time, wrestling. I thought maybe I was gonna be making some high flying karate movies, teaching about 10,000 karate kids. That's what I thought my life was gonna be about. But life, it throw a monkey wrench at you a few times, and you're gonna either lay down or you're gonna get up and get over it and get to it. So here I am. I'm a pro wrestler. Okay, this is what I am right now. I'm a pro wrestler. So I got to get into it. I got to figure out how to be a pro wrestler. And I was surrounded by the best. I was surrounded by the best. When I was surrounded by the best, I had the Macho Man. I had Randy. I had some of you can pick them and name them. You know what WCW looked like in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
All the major superstars was there. And if I wanted something, we had Terry Taylor. He's still working in the business. If I did not know how to do something, of what I can say and what I can't say, what I can say and what I can't say, I would ask Terry Taylor, Disco Inferno. These were guys that were really smart in the business. I would say, what do you think about this? How do I do this? How do Rick? What did I do with this? Rick Flair, get in advice. Scott Hall always giving me advice. This is what got me through college. It's like me going through college with a bunch of smart people, and all I had to do is cheat.
Right.
Cheat off here. Give me your paper. Did you write this? Hey, did you write this paper before you? Let me borrow your paper. Let me borrow your book. Give me your test, your answers on your test. This is what I had to work with. And I wasn't stupid. It's about being a hustler. It's about being someone who know how to make things work. You may not have it all, but you got enough to make it work. And that's what I did. I made it work. And I got over. I don't give a damn what people say. My name got over. I remember when they started calling 9 o'clock crew. That was the late time. That was the prime time. They will always call, hey, Ernest Cat Miller, just go to the ring and try to throw a chair or go to the ring and call your mama or just go there. Why? Because I was rating. The ratings was there with me. So when I went to the ring, they were trying to get the biggest pop that they could for that hour. So they had all the guys there that was pretty much getting over.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like you said, you didn't really know the business, but almost like a natural because you were able to get over. You know what I mean? Like it takes
Yeah.
some people years. I've heard some wrestlers say, "Oh, it took me 8 years to figure this thing out and get over." And I mean, you were like a natural, pretty much, if you think about it.
I was in WCW, I think 5 years. I wasn't on TV and I have been, and not saying I'm the only one to do that because they had a couple of guys to do it. They had celebrities they would bring in to wrestle a match. But
Yep.
I didn't see Dennis Rodman. I didn't see him coming in every night to be a wrestler. He worked that little angle he had. But here I am. I got to learn the business, not just what you're doing in the ring, how you talk to people, who you talk to, who you can trust, who you can't trust. And these guys were angry. They were some big old guys, man. Let me tell you something. I don't know if you ever been in a locker room with a bunch of guys that's on steroid. Do you know how mean and how angry these guys are?
Right. Yeah.
It's just like being in a damn barn with a bunch of big, greasy, what animal could I say? Something big. Just being something big and something that can do some damage to you if they wanted to. So that was it right there. So I had to watch what I say. You had to watch what you do. You didn't want to, you wanted to walk that fine line of being a good guy, respectful, but you want to push it sometimes too. You want to say some things that get people riled up because it's supposed to be a fight. But it was hard to work with some of these guys because you couldn't tell when they were going to get angry or get upset. And you got to look at me. You got to understand this about me. I didn't give a damn who got upset. After a while, I did not care, and I didn't care because I'm the real deal. If they gonna get mad in the ring because some mistake or something, like when I first got there, I kicked someone. I threw a kick. It was a real karate shoot kick, and the guy ran into it, and they just ran into each other. I ain't gonna say he ran into it. The kick was a difficult kick. It was a jump, spin, around kick where you jump and you spin to 360 to the front, then hit the guy on the other spin around. So I did that kick, and they had never seen it. And the guy got his nose broken, and I was so like, man, I was so upset and apologetic. But it was some guys in the locker room who was angry. Hey, if he had hit me like that, I would have broke his neck. Scott knew it. I would have broke his neck if he had hit me like that. Like he never hit somebody and made a mistake. We all that happened to everybody. I would have got damn near knocked out in the ring because the guy told me I'm gonna throw you down and then I'm gonna flip over. I'm gonna drop my leg across your chest. He threw me down, put me in the place. I stayed there and I watched this fat fool flip over the rope, and I watched him all the way to his damn ass, big ass, sit on my damn head, and I was out for a couple of seconds because he sat on my head instead of landing across my chest. So
Yep.
things happen. I knew that things happen. He didn't try to do it. He apologized, and it just stung me a little bit. It didn't really knock me out. But you got people. You had people like Scott Norton who was just real mean, and he just had that energy. That was his persona, being big, angry, and strong. So he was the first person to say something about breaking my neck if I ever hit him like that. And I didn't say much because I didn't know what to say. What do you say to a guy you work with who a little angry that you made a mistake in the ring? I thought that was that's it. I made a mistake. So okay, I made a mistake. All right. He said he was gonna break my neck. Okay, we were down in Florida. I had been there 2 weeks. So I went with that. But then he did it again 3 weeks later. And this guy wasn't hurt. They were just saying I did a kick that would look real dangerous. And he said, well, if that guy ever now I'm a different guy. I'm a different guy. I'm a nice, friendly, smiley face guy, soft spoken, don't say much, really shy. But when somebody turned that light on, that red light, I'm a different guy. I'm somebody you don't want to see.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. I don't give a damn if 2, 3, 4. I don't care. I'm that guy. I was the guy growing up who real people picked on. They picked on me all the time because I was big, but I was young. I was quiet, had a soft voice, really soft. Yes, yes. Ernie, you want to play? Yes, yes. People couldn't hear me. But then they could pick on me, push me around, do that. But when they pick on my brother, I had a younger brother, oh, they open a can. Something is about to happen. They turn that light on. And I remember whooping about 4 or 5 guys on the football field because they did something to my little brother. That's the zone I could go into when I'm upset. Scott Norton got me to go into that zone. And my mouth turned into something else. I stopped stumbling around, stumbling over words. My mind get focused, and my words cut just like my technique would have if I had put them on his ass. But when I told Scott Norton, he said he was gonna break my neck. I said, listen, I told the guy I was sorry, but you, mister, you're not gonna do a damn thing to me. Now, if you think you can, get up and do it right in the locker room. Get up and do it. Anybody in here? That's when I put that hammer and put that nail down. That's when they say, oh, this guy don't play. He's a nice guy, but don't push him. And that's what happens sometimes with these guys, man. You know, these guys was doing all kinds of drugs. Drugs were everywhere. Drugs were everywhere, man. Drugs were everywhere. You see these mints? These are mint right here now. But
Right.
these pills right here were everywhere. Pills like these were everywhere. People take pills to wake up. They take pills to go to sleep. They take pills to drive. They take pills to sit and wait. They take pills to fly. Man, drugs were everywhere. I was scared as hell because I thought I was going to get in a ring with somebody who was going to be on some kind of drug and couldn't contain themselves or couldn't control the techniques, the stuff we're doing in the ring. It's crazy. You know, it was crazy.
So did you Norton ever get into it physically or no?
Oh, I mean, what we had a couple of matches. We had a couple of matches.
but nothing like no shooting or on each other or anything like that, or nothing where you had to.
If I was gonna shoot on somebody in a wrestling ring, I was gonna probably go to jail for killing somebody. I'm deadly, bro. I
Yeah,
don't play. These hands are weapons for real, but these are not the weapon that they want to go after. The weapon is in my heart and in my head, in my brain.
right.
I think of ways to do the damage when I want to. So we messed around. He chopped me up in a match. I think Kevin Nash set him out to do that. Hey, Kevin Nash sent he was booking. He had the book. Hey, go out and wrestle the cat. Cat, go out to the ring, challenge anybody. We're gonna sing Scott Norton now, and we tell Scott Norton not to sell for you, just beat you up. So that's what he did. Bang, boom, boom, bang. He chopped me, chopped the shit. The crowd was going crazy. I was just doing my job because I was a heel. I was a bad guy.
Yep.
A bad guy's supposed to get beat up and then keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. And I did not know this is how it was done. When Scott Hall, when Nash, not Nash, when Scott Norton came to the ring, he chopped me up. I didn't sell any of my things. He made me look like a piece of meat. Boom. But I didn't recognize that till I got out the ring. And a lot of guys saw that. And this is what I'm saying about being surrounded by good guys and bad guys. But they were all superstars. This is when I got out the ring and went to the locker room. And so I get through the curtain, the first person I ran into was Mr. Arn Anderson, who was always good to me, even to this day. He was one of the ones where he was like, "Hey, son, just do this right here. You have to let it. You don't take much. Just." He always gave me good advice. Hey, don't spend all your money. That's the first thing he said. Save your money. This particular time when I came out the ring, working with Scott Norton, Arn Anderson was pissed off. He was like, "See, this is what's wrong with the business. People take the business and do anything they want to around here now. This is what killing the business." He said, "Hey, son," he said, "I'm glad you stayed professional." That's what is he talking about? He said, "That guy that was not working with you. He wasn't, he took it and did something that he wanted to do. I'm glad you stayed professional." And I was thinking, like, what did that mean? I don't understand. I know what he mean that I did everything I was supposed to do in the ring. Sell, sell, sell. But I picked up the phone. Something crossed my mind. Said something not right. It's not right. So I called one of my guys who was sitting at home, Sting. I said, "Sting, what did you think about the match?" He said, "Ernest, when people do that, you were just a piece of meat for him, for somebody to chop on." So he was not selling any of your stuff. He was just on TV. It just looked like he just came in, chopped you up with those hard ass hands, and slam you through the floor. One, two, three. So they try to make you look bad. I'm like, damn, I didn't know that. And then as I walked down the hall again, a little further just to get to my locker room. I haven't even made it to the locker room with these guys stopping me, giving me their advice and telling me what they saw. Scott Hall said, "Cat." He said, "Hey, Cat, you know that stuff for real, right?" He did like this. "You know that stuff for real." Put his hand like this. He said, "Don't you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Whenever you get in a ring with someone and they don't sell your stuff or they don't work with you, you make them work." He said, "You make them work. You make them work with you." And I was like, "What is he talking about? Make them work with me?" He said, "You shoot on them." I said, "Okay." He said, "That guy wasn't working with you." That's all he said. He said that he didn't even say that guy. He didn't point at Scott North. He just said, "When you get in the ring and you going against somebody that's not working with you, not selling your stuff, you make them sell. You use your stuff, or you get out the ring and say, 'Hey, if you're not working with me, I'm not doing this match.'" So they pissed me off. As I walked down the hall, I started to My mind started to work. Said, man, this guy just made me look like an ass, a complete ass on TV. He probably embarrassed me in front of my family. My mom was probably at home looking at this. Look at my son getting his ass whooped. I've never seen this before. The only fight I ever lost in life, real fight, I got double teamed when I was 8 years old. And I'm going to tell you that story.
Yeah.
My mom, my brother, and I moved to Fort Benning. She was in the military. And we moved to this where all the military people lived. We didn't know nobody, my brother and I. But it was a little playground right straight across this long big field. But it was a house at the end of that field. And in lived that house was a guy who was from he was a black guy from England. I couldn't even believe it. I never saw.
Right.
I never thought in a million years you could have a black guy that sound like him and to say he was from England. And this guy right here was a bully. He kept saying he was a boxer. You always saw him in the yard boxing, like he was boxing. Always boxing. And he'll pick on us, chase people. That's why he had no friends. So this black English guy came out. He used to pick on me and my brother. This guy came out as we were walking. We were coming back from the park, and I saw him looking at us. And I told my brother, when he started walking our way, I told my brother, run home. So my brother ran home. He took off running. And the guy stopped me and said, what you got in your pocket? I said, why? He said, you got money in there? I said, why? He just reached in my pocket and took my money out. I kept walking, and my mom met me at the door. My mom was a strong lady. She didn't play. But she met me when I got to the door, and my brother had told her that this guy always picking on me, and I would never fight him back. And said, did he pick on you again? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, come on, let's go. And on the way out, she grabbed this black strap, like a belt. It was a belt. It's a belt, but it wasn't a belt. It was one of the things that my father used to shave, and he sharpen his razor on this leather strap. He was
Oh, yeah.
sharpening his razor on that strap. She picked that up. I'm walking proud. Boy, I'm tucking my pants down. I said, this English guy about to get his ass whooped all the way back. My mom gonna whoop his ass. we gonna get him. 8 years old talking. Soon we get there, the guy come out the house. I don't know why. He must saw me and didn't see my mom. He came out the house and my mom told him to come over. And he came over and he stood right there and looked at me. And my mom said, why you keep picking on him? You like 14 years old and this kid's 8 years old. Why you picking on him? And he was like, well, I was just playing in this English force. I was just playing. He can't take jokes. He can't play. My mom said, no, don't play with him. She said, because you'd have hurt him. You'd have hit him before. Then he said, you hit him today and took his money, right? Then my mom said, hit him back. So I balled my fist up and hit that sucker right in the mouth. Bang! And he stood there. And he kind of took it. And he just looked at me, grinding his teeth like, man, if your mom wasn't here, I would tear your ass up. But my mom said, no, you can hit him. Hit him back. So the kid said, oh, I can hit him back? He said, yeah. So the kid punched me in my eye. I started to cry, tears there, because I've never felt pain like that before. And my mom said, hit him back. She told me to hit him. And I said, no, I don't want to hit him. She said, hit him back. So I hit him soft. And he'll turn around, hit me in the same eye. Bang. So that wasn't a good payoff right there.
No.
I was scared and I was swinging like a kid. He was swinging, punching me like a grown man. And every time my mom said, hit him again, and I was done. I'm not swinging on this guy anymore. That leather strap my mom had, When I didn't hit him back, guess what I got hit with?
Uh-oh.
She
Strap.
went straight across my ass with that strap. Pow! Hit him back. Boom! I hit him. He hit me in the eye. It was like a rhythm thing. She hit my ass. I hit him in the eye. He hit me back in the eye. Then I get hit with the strap again when I don't hit back. So I got double teamed. My mom and this guy beat my ass. But when I got home, I told myself that'll be the last ass whooping I ever take in life. I'll never not fight back. I'll never let people walk over me. That's the only ass whooping I took in my life. And I'm telling you, I fought 15 fights in kickboxing. And every time I got ready to fight, I thought about that story. I looked at the guy, he was that black English guy. He was that black English guy. Anybody I fought, I don't care if they were white, Chinese, or whatever. Whenever I fought him, that was that guy. And I'm going to walk across this ring. I'm going to shake his hand. And then I'm going to pretend my mom is out there. Well, she's out there looking at me, but she didn't have a leather strap. But hey, well, I'm going to pretend she going to hit me when I don't hit him. I won 15 fights like that. I won 12 boxing matches like that. I won Golden Glove fighting against people like Holyfield. I could have went into just professional fighting. So I did all this stuff, all because of the heart I have as fighting and the personality and not letting people put me down and I just lay down. So after all this fighting, I tell everybody, I won almost over 30 fights, never lost a fight. That was the only fight I ever lost. So damn, you think I'm going to lose in the fight when it comes to pro wrestling? This is fake.
Right.
I went back and told this guy I got to get him, but I can't get him like I can get anybody else. I can't throw real punches and try to hurt anybody because then I lose my job. I lose my job. But I got to get his ass back. So I did it just like they tell me to do. Think about it. Think about it. When I'm doing karate, you don't just throw shit at people. You don't just throw punches and kicks. You set them up. They don't see it coming. Make them look stupid. It's a smart way of fighting. That's what martial arts is. Smart way of protecting yourself. So what happened with this right here? I called Scott Norton. And now I'm still on my way to the locker room now from this match. I still haven't made it into the locker room. It was one more person I was going to run into. And that person was Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff being the man who got me in the business. Eric Bischoff being the man who did everything he told me we're going to do. I never asked him to do anything. Once he got me in, I never went to Eric and said, put me here, do this for me. Never. He did enough by getting me there. So I told Eric Bischoff, I said, he said, how you doing? I said, I'm doing good. And I said, Eric, can you do me a favor? And he was like, yeah. Well, I mean, what is it? What do you want me to do? He was the boss guy then. He was in charge. I said, I want another match with Scott Norton on Monday. He was like, what? He said, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. Can you? He said, okay, you got it. You got the match. So Eric Bischoff got the match. He got it set up. So this Monday, that whole week, I'm thinking about this match. When it come down and Arn Anderson were calling the match, Scott Norton was there sitting around with his muscles. His head looked like it was about 6 feet long, big old arms. You know what Scott Norton looked like. Strong guy, man. A bully.
Huge. Yep.
Bully, huge, man. Biggest white guy I've ever seen. But when I got Scott Norton in that ring and we went over just like we did before, and this is how you do it. You see the card, and the card will tell you who you gonna wrestle. The card will say, okay, Ernest Miller, the Cap versus Scott Norton. The Booker, Arn Anderson. So we had to go see the guy who gonna call it up, who gonna put the match together. And they said, what do you want to do, Ernest? Boom. I said, see what Scott want to do. Who gonna get the win? Scott gonna get the win. But what are you gonna do? So I said, Scott told me he would say, I'm gonna chop, chop, throw you down the same thing we did last week. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that again. I said, okay, okay. He said, now what do you want to do? Because it's a time where they give you your little shine. They got to give you a shine. You know what that means, right?
Yep.
They got to give you a spot
Yeah.
so you can look like you can win. So I told him, I said, in my spot, I don't want but 3 kicks. I'm gonna throw 3 kicks. The week before, every time I threw a kick, he just slapped it away, didn't sell the kicks. Cause they was work kicks. This time I told him this is the 3 kicks. 1 kick after you chop me around. The first kick, I'm gonna go in the corner. I'm gonna do a sliding side kick. I'm gonna hit you in your chest. You just big man it away. Just slap it away. Which I knew he was gonna do that anyway. Then I said, now the second time, I'm gonna slide back a little further. And I'm gonna try to kick you again. And I want you to just roar back just a little bit, just rock. It's big men don't like to go to the ground. You know, they don't like to bump. So there was no way he wanted to bump for me. But I asked him right up front. I said, now this third kick is coming a little different. I'm going to shoot this kick right at you and you go down. And he kind of rolled his eyes. So what you mean I go down? Go down to your back, flat to your back. And then when I come to get you, you can just chop me and finish. He was like, go to my back, take a bump. Yeah, take a bump on that third kick. Bang. The match was set. Later on that day, we get ready to go to the match. I stop and we go over again. I said, remember, first kick, slap it away. Second kick, roll back a little bit like you're about to go off your feet. The third kick I throw, you go off your feet. He said, okay, okay. We getting ready to go out. It's time for the match. Boom, boom. We going out to the ring. Time for the match. Everybody get ready. We're in the hall. I walk over to him again before we even go to the ring. Hey, I'm going to call you out. Now, remember, when you come to the ring, first kick, slap it away. No sell. Second kick, sell a little bit. Third kick, make me look strong. Go down. He was like, okay, okay, with that little smart attitude, the little attitude. Like, yeah, right. He go to the ring. Match start. Anything I do, I'm running around trying to get away from it. He chopping it. He'll catch me. I just stand still. He'll slap my arm. He chopped my chest. Had the skin were breaking, so I had bruises and red. The chest were open. He was just slapping me. I was selling everything he had. I was selling it, and I was telling myself, I was like, bro, you know, I fought in a 10-round match before. 10 rounds, 2-minute match. To where the guy I was fighting was trying to kill me and I was trying to kill him. And I won that match. So there's no way just because you slapping my chest in a ring in front of a bunch of people, that's not going to stop the cat. That's not going to even hurt me. I can't even tell what the hell is going on. It's easy. We go through the match. He slapped me, chopped me again. He whereabouts chopped me. Big old hand guy. About 320 pounds. He chopped me again. I'm selling. The whole crowd is in it now. Monday night. You know how Monday nights used to be back in those days.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, Monday night was crowded. Sold out. It wasn't like
Yep.
AEW had the blackout. WWE got the blackout one side. We were sold out. So when the crowd got into it, it was loud. Every time he chopped in the crowd was like, woo. Whoo, they were just into it. Okay, the chopping is over. Now it's my time to shine. I set him up for the first kick. I stepped in, looked like Bruce Lee doing that sliding side kick where you pick your knee up, you kick the guy across the room. I pick my leg up, I kick at him. He slap it away. Ugh, like it wasn't shit. Second kick. I pick that knee up. I slide at him again to kick him a little harder. He did the same thing. He didn't even sell for me. He just slapped my leg down. And I told him, remember I told him, I said, listen, bro, This third kick, you got to go down. You got to. He didn't know I was trying to save his life. He didn't know he had just turned into that little black English kid that beat me up when I was 8 years old. Him and my mom jumped on me. He was everything I needed to know. Bruh, that side kick was straight up. I mean, when I threw that third side kick, it damn near ripped his head off. When he was going back to the floor, it was a kick you had to sell. If he had went down, it would have pushed him back. But since he was trying to still power me and stand up straight, the kick, it's a side kick that I practiced on every day of karate when I was young. So straight up side kick to the sky. Hit the side of the foot, use the side of the foot, the side of the heel into the target. And you push with your backside. So you can try to make this guy push him through the roof. But this time I hit him with that kick, and the kick took him off his feet, and the shoes came off, his shirt came off, he hit the floor, and when he hit the floor, I picked him up. He was spitting out blood, and I said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Thank you." He threw me off the rope. He knocked me down, threw me off the rope, chopped me, then suplexed me, and won. Beat me again, 1, 2, 3. But I had a smile on my face. The reason I had that smile, because I know I taught him a lesson and everybody else in that NWO locker room. When I got back there, Sonny Elno, who was not my manager then, he was waiting for me behind the curtain. He was like, "Man, that was a good match, man." He said, "That was a great kick." He said, "I've never seen Scott Noah take a bump like that for nobody." And I looked around and said, he had no other choice but to take a bump. It would have ripped his damn head off if he had tried to stand up against that. As soon as I said that, here comes Scott Noah. His shirt was ripped off, blood was coming out of his damn mouth. He was walking through like he was still Big Bear. He was still barely Bear, but he was walking through. He just walked right past me. I said, "Thank you, Scott." He walked right past me, went in the locker room. That was the time that he should have broke my neck if he was going to break my neck.
Right.
Because he got to feel something that he didn't have to feel. But this guy knew what was up. He knew they put him in position to do that. He fucked around and found out.
Yes. Don't shoot with the shooter. You know what I mean? You can't do that.
Don't shoot with the shooter. And
Yeah.
I did it in a way to where nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what was in my head. It wasn't a fight. I didn't throw a combination. I could have threw a combination of punches and kick just to knock him out with one, to trick him. But I said, no, I'm going to let him know what's coming, but he don't know how it's coming. But I'm going to explain to him. Rear back, you know, sell the first one, rock off the second one, sell the second one for me. But the third one, you got to go down. He went down all right, but he was forced with the kick.
I bet nobody messaged you ever again after that.
Sure enough, people really didn't mess with me much anyway. Most of those guys knew. They knew who I was.
Right.
They knew enough about me coming in that I was a shooter. I was a real guy. I was ahead of my time, just like I heard Mark Henry talking about this. Mark Henry said the cat was before his time. I was doing all this karate stuff, flipping, talking. I was the Muhammad Ali and the Bruce Lee and James Brown all in one package.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining. I could talk with anybody. I could have fun. I could do anything. All you got to do is get me going. Just like this conversation right here with you. You ain't
Yeah.
got to say nothing. You ain't
Yeah.
got to say nothing. Just let me get on my story and let me go. And when I
Yeah.
first came, I couldn't feel, when we first started, it was kind of slow. It was like I couldn't figure you out. I didn't know what the hell you going to say, who you are, but I thought, wow, we get into the flow. Just let me go. That's what I did when I fight, when you just let me go.
Yeah.
Now I'm 61 years old. I still go to these karate classes that you talk about. And all the guys in there, 25, 30, they fast. They faster than I used to be the man in the whole, I used to be the man in the karate dojo there, whoop everybody. But now I'm like the older guy that's a little slow. So all I do is sit around when we sparring. I'll go around with everybody. Then I'll sit down and talk crap. Talk, talk, talk. Hey, y'all young guys want me to come out there and show y'all how to do it? To one of the young guys said, hey, they call me Uncle E, Uncle Ernest. Hey, Uncle Ernest, you don't do nothing but sit over there and talk. And I said, bro, I did one round. He said, just one round? I said, I don't fight anymore. I said, bro, I'm 60 years old. And guess what the young fella said? Damn, Uncle, yeah, I forgot you're 60. Because you still a threat.
He better watch out. Yeah. He
He
knows.
better
He
watch
knows.
out. He better watch out.
But he knows, it seems like. It is crazy though, like when you think about it, like what Mark Henry was kind of saying, you didn't know, like, as far as you coming in, like, okay, he has a karate background, but who knew, like, such a good talker, such a good entertainer, could do the funny dancing, has the great catchphrases. Like, I feel like that just came very quick to you, and you kind of got the sports entertainment side of things really quick.
You know what? That was quick. I mean, that when you're having fun, you're having fun.
Yeah.
And I was having fun. I'm one of the guys, if I'm enjoying myself, you're going to get the best of me. You're going to get all the love. You're going to laugh. You're going to have fun. But if I'm not enjoying myself, it's not. And I'm going to tell you the differences. When I was in WCW, they let me free. They let me be free to come up with ideas to do this. I was having fun. The crowd was loving me with all this stuff. The James Brown stuff, something I came up with. You know, the dancing, the call my mama, that stuff I came up with because I was having a good time and I wanted to entertain not just the crowd, but the guys in the locker room. We was all friends. Now, when I got to WWE, it was totally different. That's just like going from a public school going to a private school. There's only a few guys hanging around and they look like they mad at you because you're there. I mean, it was just different, man. Being around Vince McMahon was just different. Been around Vince McMahon, been around Pat Patterson, been around these guys up there, man. It was different. I knew it was different because before I went up there, I had friends to tell me, Cat, you better be careful up there. I really did not want to go up there. Johnny Ace called me and say, hey, you will do good up here. I had just got a contract to where I was getting paid $5 million. All I had to do is sit home for the 2 years and get paid from WCW.
Right.
Now, once I got paid, completely paid from that, they said, hey, you want to come up here to WWE or WWE? I said, yeah. John Ace. John Ace called me about 2 or 3 times. He said, come up here and do a dark match. And I said, why do I do a dark match? He said, because they just want to see you. He said, Vince did not watch WCW. I said, no, he didn't watch. He said, no, he don't know who you are, but he could tell. I could tell he'll like you. So I went out there. I had a dark match against Norman Smiley, another black Englishman.
Yeah.
But this one I like. I like this one. Norman and I are still friends. So I had a dark match. Boom. Then they moved me in. They said, you got a job. Then they put me behind the comment. They put me in color commentator. Something I knew nothing about. People think you just get out there and talk. No, you don't just get out there and talk. You get out there and headphones. Guess who is in my ear? Guess who talking to me, telling me what to say?
Vince.
Guess who talking to me, telling me how to look? Guess who talking to me, telling me good job, slow down, do this? Vince McMahon. How much fun was that?
Doesn't sound like
Not much. It wasn't that fun. It was not that fun. I hated it. I wanted to wrestle more, but they had too many guys on contract. They were pushing John Cena, trying to get him through the roof. They were pushing all the WWE guys, trying to get them over. They didn't have time to start with a guy who just came from WCW, although Vince McMahon really acted like he liked me. But I was scared. And I'm going to tell you what I was afraid of. I was afraid I was going to have to kill somebody up there. When I got there, I heard all the rumors. This guy's gay. This guy's gay. this guy gonna want you to do this. He gonna ask you to do this. If you want to get a job and do this, you got to go sleep with this guy. They already told me. The guys already told me. They already told me what to expect when I went up there. But I said to myself, maybe I shouldn't go because I'm not like that. I'm not gonna kiss somebody's ass to work when I know I'm good. I'm not gonna kiss nobody's ass when I know I'm good. I was great. So why should I have to kiss somebody's ass or do some other old crazy stuff just to get put in the angle? I was not gonna do it, and I knew right then if somebody ever approached me like that, I was ready to knock somebody's damn head off. And every time somebody approached me, things were just out of order. I said, there's no way I could work at this position. There's no way I can have fun up here because I can't let my guards down. Pat Patterson had a birthday party up there. They ordered a cake for him. This the guy I had to report to about doing the shows and doing what we were going to talk about. They brought in a box. It's his birthday. They put a box on the table. It was Hefner, one of the referees, the twin. He brought in a box. And when we saw Pat Patterson coming down the hallway, and I'm sitting right there, they opened the box and lit the candle. I looked at the cake, and the cake was in the shape of a penis.
Oh my God.
With the tip, the candle was on the tip. And they started singing happy birthday to him. And guess what he did? He looked at it and said, oh, I can't wait to blow that out.
Right.
I said, what? He said, I can't wait to blow this candle out. So to me, I was like, this was over. Listen, bro, this was too much. How can I go sit in front of this guy now and try to work when I already know he was having sex with Canadian guys? He was doing all kinds of stuff. And people had just told me they saw him on the elevator kissing a guy, one of the new wrestlers. I ain't gonna tell you the guy's name, but they were straight out kissing. Like girlfriend and boyfriend. This guy had to be about 26 years old, and he was in his 60s. And this before I knew he was gay. I did not know he was gay. And then I had to fly with these guys. We had to go back to New York for Friday morning. We'd come in Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday we had to fly to New York on Vince McMahon plane. And you got to sit there and act like you're having the best time in the world while Vince sit in front of you. And Vince was really nice. Every time he wanted to make me laugh. He liked shooters. Guys who are shooters, a badass guy. Vince liked those guys.
Yep.
They told me that before I got there. Vince was too nice to me. He was too nice. It made me uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable. The only thing Vince did for me that I enjoyed is when I got ready to leave and I was not going to renew my contract. He said, well, the writers can't write for you. I went to him face to face. I said, I want to hear this from you, Vince. He said, what? Sit down. The writer said they can't write for me. That's why that's why my contract is either going to stay the same or we're not going to renew it. And I said, how can a writer not write for me? He said, well, they said they didn't know what kind of storylines to have. Maybe you can come up with your own storyline. Everybody already know. And the storyline had to go through who?
Vince.
Yeah. In the storyline. Everybody know that. How all of a sudden he gonna tell me I can come up with some story and give them to the writers when I work right there with Vince every day behind the scene, you know? It was just too backwards, man. I mean, things were like out of place. And That's go all the way back to the way I got in. I got in loving wrestling, trying to learn how to wrestle, trying to learn how to interact with the wrestler, entertain the fan. But there's a business side I had to learn too. You had to learn the business. You had to learn to say no to the gay stuff. You had to do that, especially with those guys. You wanted to keep that virgin booty.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
wanted to keep that virgin booty. What you said? What
Definitely.
you said?
Yeah.
You said definitely. Yeah, you wanted to do that, and it was going around up there. Everybody know that. Just hush, hush. Everything's quiet up there. Hush, hush. I don't give a damn what they say. I never want to go back and work up there or do anything. Now you can look at some of the stuff. You can look at some of the stuff going on right now up there. You got guys who didn't have good careers there, and they all the way around. They come to Atlanta. They come to Atlanta, a black city, and I ain't see no black superstars, legends in the audience. You got man, come on. You got so many. You got Booker T could have came down. You got Ron Simmons could have came down. You got you got Thunderbolt Patterson right here. They just put him in the Hall of Fame. Why y'all didn't invite him? But y'all got. I like the guys they have. Don't get me wrong, but they did not have no representation of the black community here in Atlanta. And I just think they should have. People like, why weren't you there, Cat? I wasn't there because I had other things to do. But I would have liked to see. I saw the black mayor. Atlanta got a black mayor. He was here. I saw the three black girls. What was they doing? They were Bad Blood was the pay per view.
Yeah,
They
they
were
were hosting.
hosting. They were
Yep.
hosting. Then you saw in the back, you saw every what? Damn near every black rapper in Atlanta in the behind stage, right?
Yep.
My kids don't listen to them because the music is not what my kids listen to. You got people here that kind of much more impressible, not impress other people, but you got people here that are more TV ready for the younger crowd that could have been projected that they too have been on the show or been represented of. I don't even know how to word it because I don't want to sound like I'm an angry guy because I wasn't there. But I'm just saying it never represented us like I thought it should, you know. And
Yep.
we got a lot of they got a lot of black wrestlers, but when they have a time to step up and say, you know what, we going to Atlanta. I know what they were saying. We going to Atlanta. The mayor is black. It's about 40 to 60% black. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the three black girls to run the show. We're gonna put a couple of black guys on there to win to wrestle. We're gonna show the black mayor shaking hand with Triple A. We're gonna show all the music black hip hop rapper guys. I don't even listen to no damn rap. We're gonna show the rappers, music guys in the back, who all they do is sing and rap about what? Money, sex. So that's what he wanted to project. But then when it came to, hey, we got all these legends here. Yeah, yeah, we got all the legend here. You okay? He's good. I like him. He is a legend. Yeah, he's great. That's one of my best friends. But wait a minute, where's Booker T? He should have been set right there in the legend too. Where's Harlem Heat used to live here? Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray could have been there. He's in the Hall of Shame. Where's Thunderbolt Patterson? Somebody represent the black legends too, cause they put some work in too.
Definitely. For sure. As we hit the wind down here, head towards the finish, I got to ask you this because very curious. How come you didn't do some more acting? You were so great in the wrestler. How come we didn't see the more of you
Bro,
in the acting world?
I've been in about 10 movies. I don't know what you're talking about. I've been in Blood and Bones. That's one of the best karate in the neighborhood. If you could go come to Atlanta, you could go in the barbershop, black barbershop, the black community. That's one of the best movies. People love that movie.
I'll have to check that
I
out.
did
Okay.
black. It called Blood and Bones. I did the Legend of Bruce Lee. I played Ernest Shaver over in China. Big movie there. It's here. It's on some. I think it's on Netflix here. I played a military guy on a couple of episodes of MacGyver TV show. Bro, I could do whatever the hell I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm happy now. I don't have to be a wrestler. I don't have to be a karate teacher. I think about my career. I've been a pro wrestler. I've played pro football, pro athlete, karate, world karate champion, world karate champion, not just a champion, one of the top world karate champion, actor, not in just one or two or three movies. I was in a co-star actor in one of the biggest movies ever made. When some people said one of the best movies, The Wrestler.
Yeah. You were
I
awesome
was
in that.
co
Yeah.
I was co-starring with these guys. I was up there with my picture with the star, Mickey Rourke.
The Ayatollah. Yeah. You were awesome.
And then I've been in the wrestling, not just a wrestler, but I've been in the two biggest companies around, WCW, WWE, and I've worked in TNA and some of the Impact Wrestling. I've worked in some of those things too. But think about their career. I was at a celebrity golf tournament with some major stars, I mean, Doug Flutie, Jim McMahon, Dominique Wilkins. We all sitting around. We had just got into Cody, Wyoming. We sitting around the night before the tournament, everybody getting to know each other. And a few people there knew me. And I was talking to everybody. And I got up to go get something from behind the table, get a drink. And I heard one of the guys, I heard Doug Flutie said, "Who is that guy?" And one of the guys stood up and said, "Oh, he's this badass karate guy. He been in movies. He been a pro wrestler. He been, just laid my career out for me." And there's somebody else talking. And that meant so much to me to listen to that, to know like, man, I've done a lot in life and continue to grow. I'm taking care of right now. I'm doing all kinds of, I'm doing business because people know me. And it's not people who know you, it's people who want to work with you. I got a construction business going. I'm doing teaching, got my karate stuff going. Life is good. I got a couple of movies coming out. Glacier and I got a movie coming out. And I can't tell you when it dropped because they told me not to say anything, but it's dropping really, really soon. And it got me, Glacier, Luther Big, Larry Sabisco, Tonga. Got a lot of good people in there. That's why I got DDP in there. And I'm just trying to remember off my head because we shot this movie about maybe 3 years ago with the pandemic kind of held it up a little bit. So I got that movie coming out. The Unbreakable. It's called The Unbreakable. And then we got another movie coming out with Michael Jai White. He's a karate guy, blood and bone guy. We got a movie. I'm in the movie with him, and it's called Troubled Man. So I got a lot of stuff going on, man, and I'm happy with it. And you know, I feel so good. I even decided to come on this podcast. I don't even like doing these things,
I'm glad you did. I appreciate that. I'm glad you did.
and I want you to tell the world too. Tell the
Hell yeah.
truth. You asked me one time, how many times did I ask you to pay me?
0.
That's what I'm saying. I do this because I want to. I don't do it because I have to.
You're the man. Yep.
I
So
remember,
Where could everybody find you, social media wise, the podcast? Like, where can everybody connect with you?
Well, if I'm on Instagram, I'm on all the social media outlet. I'm on Facebook. You see right now, my sponsor is Recite. There's a construction company that sponsor my podcast. We got some great people on there. You go to YouTube, go to the Cat's Corner podcast, subscribe, listen to it. We got some good story. I got story with interview with Goldberg, Mark Henry, Bret Hart. I got everybody on there. And I got people that's coming on too. I want to get Jimmy Hart on. I want to get Hogan on. I want to have some conversation with these guys too. So I like to get the guys that I want to get right now real for myself. I like Abdullah the Butcher, Thunderbolt Patterson. I got a whole bunch of people coming on right now, but right now you can go there and listen to what I have and enjoy it.
Love it. Ernest the Cat Miller, thank you so much for all the time tonight. Really appreciate it.
Okay, brother. Thanks for having me, and look forward to listening to this and watching this and looking at some of the other stuff you have. What can I see your podcast?
Two-man power trip. We're on YouTube, we're on Google, Spotify, we're pretty much everywhere. But yeah, we had a lot of good guests on through the years for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you've been years. It's been years.
Yeah.
You've been running.
Yep. Had a bunch of good guests. Yeah.
So this show you that you go one subscriber at a time. You don't try to boom get 100,000 right away. It take a little work.
Yeah. Organically, you got to grow it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. But Cat, thank you so much for all the time. Appreciate it, man.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me.